Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. It's Monday night. It's 7:30. We've got our weekly Fan Zone show. My name's Phil. Join us with all the latest views, news, gossip, transfer rumours, the like from Leicester City, and let's have a good old gossip about what is going on down at the club. Join me now. Get your views in. Get your comments in.
Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. Are you ready for the show? Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pukka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hollogram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newby Co estate agents. We want your views, we want your comments, so join us live. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yes, welcome to Leicester Fan TV. It is Monday night and we always like to get your views, your comments in. So let me know what you want to talk about. I want to talk a little bit with you guys. Are you interested? Do you want to comment? Where are the transfers? I know we're only 4 days officially into the transfer window opening, but I am getting very, very twitchy already. Why have we not signed maybe Lookman, for example? We know what he's like, what is going on. The rumours are he's worth 14 million quid. Just sign him already. Let's get one in the bag. It's meant to be a summer of rebuild. What is going on? Evening, Matty Bond. Hope you're well as well. Don't forget, I can get your comments in. Good evening, Maz. Good evening, Nick. Andy. Dale says, are we actually going to sign anybody? Well, Patrick says we've got no cash. But Dale, to come back to yours, are we going to sign anybody? Yes, of course we are going to sign anybody. But I guess we were all wanting to get something done because Brendan has said this is a summer rebuild. He said it. He said it after the Forest game where we got demolished that day at the Trent End. And yeah, where is it? Andrew, good evening. John, good evening. Wayne, get your views in. Keep getting them in. More from Leo. Hi, mate. How are you? John Appleton, Dan Fox. Joe says, have you relocated in the ground? Thanks, Joe. No, I've not. I am still in what was the family stand. It still is. I think it's P block behind the goal. So I haven't relocated. Not yet. It was considered. Have you, Joe, to go into the singing area maybe? LCFC Gray says, evening. We don't want anyone Saints calf stars. His stats are appalling. He is talking about this winger, Elyounoussi. Am I saying that right? I don't know. No, I'm with you, Gray. He looks an absolute no-no for me, but do you think he should be one we get? Not really made the grade at Southampton, and then he's gone on to Celtic, so not sure about that. Dale says, are we going to have to sell to buy, or do we have spare transfer cash? Dale, I'd hate to think that we are in that situation, to be fair, that the Yuri Tielemans is looking more and more on day by day. It's just going to be a case of how much. Do we have to sell him before, like a game of dominoes, they all tipple over, which Neil is saying we have to get some out first to free up funds? Andrew says here, listen, Andrew, he says, I've got a bad feeling about this transfer window. We've had 3 bad transfer windows on the trot, Andrew, is my opinion. The January 21 transfer window, we got Ryan Bennett. Yes, you remember that? We signed Ryan Bennett on loan in January 21. Last summer, we signed Sumare, flop for me. Daka, not proven, not good enough for me. And then Vestergaard and Bertrand. And I think we all can be honest about those. We can all agree on those 2 and say that's not worked out. And then January, again, this window, January 22, nothing. 3 bad transfers on the trot, and that's only because I can't remember the transfer window before that. Andrew, good evening. Patrick says, once Nation League farce is over this week, things will move. Patrick, you and me too. That Nations League, I don't know what it is. It is just such a non-event. Absolutely a non-event. Afix says, sidestep. Not sure what you mean by that. LCFC Gray says, definitely not. Carl is watching from Cyprus. Good evening to you, Carl. Bill Upton says, are we still waiting for recruitment staff? There is talk of that, isn't there? We're meant to be bringing in the recruitment chief, is it, from Southampton? Which I guess is where maybe that rumour's come from. Andy says, the rumours that Spurs want Yuri and Madders for 120. I was reading that as well. Yuri Tielemans, I think it's going to end up at Arsenal. Neil says that Yuri scored for Belgium at the weekend. Yeah, he is on the Nations League, so maybe he hasn't made it out. Joe also wants to know a question here. Why don't we have our new kit or pre-season friendly list out? I don't know, Joe. And do you know what? The kit we're going to have a chat with Reedy. He's going to join in a minute. I'm going to ask him about the kit and all that. Ross says, can you give Charlie a birthday shout out, please? He's on PS4 Live with me and can hear your show. Charlie, happy 7th birthday. And Ross, make sure Charlie comes on the shows more next year than you. He's far more entertaining. Dan says, well, for saying towards the end of the season, I read several reports saying Top was going to give us £200 million to spend. I agree, Daniel, with the 15th richest club in Europe. 15th. Surely we don't need to sell somebody to buy somebody. Simon is saying Yuri's Arsenal bound. Neil is saying the international players aren't going to get the long rest up. League starts in August this year due to the World Cup. I know. Listen, this is football all over, isn't it? We need players play too many games. So we got 4 Nations League matches. What idiot thought of that? Honestly, what idiot thought of that? It's like the midwinter break, isn't it? Where teams want to have a midwinter break and then they all end up flying off to America and Dubai to play a little exhibition game. You're like, what are you doing? Luke is saying Spurs are looking at Yuri. Oh, there's so many links with Yuri. Let's bring Reedy in. Are you ready to come in, Reedy? Here he is. Good evening, Reedy. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Andy's saying, has Ross took Charlie to the chocolate factory? Moore says, happy birthday, Charlie. Get all your happy birthdays into Charlie. Chris Gutteridge says, Reedy, surely everyone's on holiday at the moment. Why are we getting twitchy bob holes already? Calm down. I am twitchy, Chris. Reedy, we're only 4 official days into the transfer window, but Brendan Rodgers on that fateful day at Forest after the game said we're going to have a bit of a summer rebuild. So we all know this is coming, don't we, Reedy? So as fans, can you see why fans are getting twitchy? And are you twitching?
Well, like I say, we've had a lot of talk in the office about players coming in while we're not getting people in. But like I say, to be honest, it's been 4 days into the window. Realistically, we never really have in the past got many signings in the early stages of it. Obviously, we've heard about a few players going out now, and it's even with a kit reveal. Really, why are we expecting it when we didn't play it in the last game of the season? So really, we shouldn't be expecting anything so soon because again, it's only 4 days into the window. So why would we have any big news come out that quickly?
So really, you've just gone from one thing to the other. But while we're talking about the kit, what is going on with the kit? It's only a silly thing, but why? For a start, I was in the shop about a week ago, and they got literally. I took a photo of it. They must have had 150 Leicester City blue shirts, the one you're wearing, but with the Europa League badge stuck on the side. So not the Europa Conference League, Europa League badge stuck on the side. We were like, they're not going to shift them very easily, and they've got a 35% sale on there. And I think normally they have a massive sale to clear out the old stock, and they're not doing it.
Well, like I say, normally it goes to like 50% off, and it's I think at the moment it's only 35% off. But like you say, by the end of the season, it normally is pretty much like literally you can get it for even better than half price. So I don't know why. And like you say, when you were saying about the Europa League, I thought you meant the conference, but the Europa League, they're never going to get rid of them because we were gone about half a year ago.
Well, that's what I mean. They've got Europa League badges on them, and there was 100 of them in there. There was loads of this year's kit in there, and you just sort of. I know I don't want to get too into why is there no new kit, but it does seem we normally like to get a new shirt to go on our holidays. So come on, Leicester.
It's not. Let's say normally we play on the last game of the season, so normally we already know what's happening. We don't know about the away kit or the third kit, obviously, but normally we do have some sort of idea what the first kit would look like. But again, we don't at all. So
yeah, my reflection says here it is early doors, but like Brendan said, this is going to be a big transfer window with quite a few coming in, quite a few going out. So I'm going to spin it straight back to Lookman, Reedy. Rumours that he's £14 million. Surely we just do it, don't we? We've seen enough.
I honestly thought he was one of the better players last season. Don't get me wrong. There's some people might say he was okay, but for me, he was one of the better performers. Obviously, Maddison and people like that. But Lookman was the one for a player that only just came in on loan, and like you said previously, that he's come in and not done the best for the other teams, as in Fulham and Everton as well. Both of them, he didn't really do much, but when he came in for us, he did brilliant. So for me, even as a squad depth player, even if you don't start him as a sub, I think he's important to the team.
I'm going to add Jono in. Jono, you ready to come in? He's giving me a thumbs up. Jono, we're just talking about Lookman. Thanks for coming on tonight. For me, Reedy used the word there, brilliant for Lookman. I'm not. I actually have seen him be man of the match a few games. I'll be honest with you on that, Jono. And most games, I think he reminds. He sort of, for most games, he hits a 7 out of 10 for me, and sometimes it is that 8 or 9 or occasionally a 10 out of 10. I think I've seen enough from Lookman, certainly at £14 million, to buy him. Jono, how about yourself?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. Do you know that? Who's that guy we're looking at, the right wing who's from Southampton?
Elyounoussi.
Why get him? We've got
well, because rumours are he's worth 10 million.
But that extra 4 million, like Lookman is what's the difference to beat Liverpool? You know, that's worth 4 million in my book. So why not spend extra 4 million when a player has already settled into the team? I don't get why we'd go an extra mile to get a player which hasn't been proven in our squad yet.
Well, more from Leo says the Bundesliga suits him. Luke says, am I the only one that won't take Lookman? It'd be interesting if we can ask people, all those who are watching this now at the moment, just put in the comments if you'd take Lookman, especially for 14 million, just say Lookman yes or Lookman no. And if it's a no, tell us why you wouldn't take it. So, Luke, I'd be interested to see why you wouldn't take him in there. Nick is saying Lookman deal will be done with the funds we have left after the other players that come, I reckon. Ross saying he'd rather take Cornet from Burnley. Dan is saying, I think selling Cags would be a mistake. Luke comes back about the Lookman. He says, Lookman is too hot and cold. We need a 9 out of 10 most games and start right winger.
Right winger, yeah.
But really, there's not many players in most teams who would give you a 9 out of 10 every game. Even Vardy can certainly have games where you don't get a 9 out of 10 because he just gets voided out the game.
Yeah, exactly. Like I say, people get blocked or get covered 2 or 3 men on one player at a time. So you can't always have a 9 out of 10. But the issue is when he said about there being on star and right wing, his better positions on the left. And the only reason that's an issue is because Barnes is a left winger. When Barnes goes in, Lookman has to go on the right hand side. And for me, Lookman ain't that good on the right compared to the left. And he scored against Liverpool on the left. So for me, when he plays in the better position on his left side, really, he shows up a lot more.
Yeah, Wayne says he'd take Lookman. Matthew is saying Lookman is cheap at 14 million. Callum is saying 14 million is a bargain in there. I think, Jono, that's my take on it, is you sort of know what you're getting. And I don't think I've seen Lookman get less than a 7 out of 10 any game. And that's sort of where I'm benching it, is that Perez, for example, can come in and have a 2 out of 10 game, but can also have a 10 out of 10 game. I think Lookman is steady Eddie.
Like, I think when we're doing player ratings, none of us gave Lookman no than a 7. I don't think in any game. I wouldn't say he's the game maker. I don't want to say he's the difference, but he's always consistent. Like, he puts 110% in, makes those runs. He can be dangerous a lot of the time. So, yeah, I spend the extra 40 million in this market, especially when people are saying we can spend 200 million. I don't know if that's including the players we can already going to sell, but that's a lot of money, and 14 million is not a lot of it.
Yeah, I agree. I think generally, if I was to put a number on it, I think about 75-80% of fans are going for Lookman, and certainly this Elyounoussi, or however you say it, Reedy, he's had 2 bang average seasons at Southampton. Then he's been put out to the Scottish Pub League. I don't think,
that's the sort of thing. Why are we linked to these? Why are we linked to these wingers? Even that deal that we did a video on the other week as well. Like, these wingers, we're trying to replace. It's like we're trying to replace Lookman because he wasn't good enough yet. He was at least a 7 out of 10, like you said, in most games. So why not just get him in, make that the first signing, and then start and build from that? Because even if we don't have the money, get your Tielemans sold, and then bring all them players in. We don't need to be buying these random players from certain teams that don't perform.
It's like, he feels like to me a squad depth player. That other guy, he doesn't feel like a guy who can improve. He feels like a guy saying, "Oh, if Lookman or Barnes can't play, he'll fit in the Carabao Cup game." So I don't want anymore. We've got enough squad depth now. That issue's been resolved last season. We've got enough of that now. Now we need to buy players to improve the squad and have more first-team players that can make a difference. I don't want to see any more average signing for Southampton like a Vestergaard or Bertrand. I want to see proper signings.
Yeah, I agree with you, really. I'll be back with you very shortly. Don't forget, we want to get your views in, your comments in. I just wanted to remind people that this time next week, next Monday, June the 20th, we are live doing the Fan Zone show at 7:30, but we are live at a fan event that we're running at Peter's Pizzas in Leicester. It's free. I think there's literally a couple of tickets left. If you've not got them, there's going to be about 150 fans there. Steve Walsh is going to be joining us for the Q&A, so you'll be able to get your views in and your comments into Walshy. If you come to the event, then you can literally get your questions in to me, Reedy, Walshy, whoever else is down there. Barry Pierpoint said he's going to turn up, and so's Julian Joachim. As I say, free pizza, free stuff to win, all with the hope that we'll raise a couple of quid for Hope Against Cancer, the charity that we are supporting. Let's get back to your views and your comments. Andy says Jesse Lingard for me. He's talking about getting it in there. John Appleton saying we need Premiership pedigree players, which I totally agree with you on that with John. My reflection saying still can't believe Forest are in the Premier League, buzzing for it, and also FIFA 23.
It's not feeding the monster.
Not feed the monster. Reedy, for me this summer, I said at the start before you came on, we've had three really bad transfer windows, and that's the two January ones, and then last summer for me was a really bad transfer window. We've had 2 years on the trot. We nearly qualified for Champions League, and for me, we scuppered this year by a bad summer last year. I am definitely feeling like we need a really good summer, but we've got to sign. Forget this squad players. He's good for the squad. We need first team starting players, Reading, because last summer you can say, oh, Vestergaard, squad player, Bertrand, squad player, Sumari, one for the future, Daka, one for the future. Forget the future. We need players now, this summer, ready for August the 7th, 8th, whatever day the first game is. We need players for this summer now.
The difference is the last window, we brought players in. Rodgers wanted players who were champions. I've said it before. Daka, he came into the squad after winning the Austrian Bundesliga. Yes, it wasn't the best of leagues. Sumare winning the league with Lille, first time in I don't know how many years, beating PSG to that title. Again, you could maybe call it a farmers league, but he did bring champions in, but the players who he brought in didn't get into the first team, which you say. So now I say that, really, don't get me wrong, we can still go for these little gems like we did with Fafana. No one really knew much about him, but he came in and absolutely smashed it. But we do need to stop buying them lower budget players that could perform and actually start spending like £30 million minimum on a player that you've heard of before. And people will like Elyounoussi, really. Yes, I've heard of him, but it's only because I've been watching the Premier League for the last few years, not because he's turned up good.
But Jono, Fafana was a gamble to an extent, but he was £30 million, I believe, or €30 million. So we spent a hell of a lot of money on him. So, but Sumari again was expensive.
Yeah.
What's your take on it, Jono? I'm just like, got to sign players. I can't take any more of this. He'll be all right in a year or two. We need players now for this season. You could have one bad season and you could be relegated.
If we have that philosophy, then we won't have the big players won't come, because that's like, oh, they've had their peak. Now they're at an average stage. We need to. Even though we finished 8th in the semi-final of the competition, this was a very poor season overall. If we didn't make any mistakes, we didn't see all those stupid corners and set pieces, I reckon we've got top 6 easily. So we need to buy better players who are consistent, who are not injury prone. I don't want any more squad depth I don't want to buy, a Pukki or, like someone.
I'd sign Pukki. I'd take Pukki. That's who I would take, Jono.
I think they're the exact sort of players, though, that really maybe you could go for them, because it is kind of like a plan B situation. But it's not pushing. It isn't pushing on. I know what you mean. It's not pushing to a better squad.
I want a Zaha. I want a Zaha player like that who would up him for another level.
Yes, I hear what you're saying. It is tricky. See, I'd take Pukki because I think he could well break into. I'd rather have Pukki up top than Daka and Ian.
That would be the plan B area that you've always wanted back. Like I say, for me, a Ujoa kind of style player. Really, I think we do need, but he's not going to go to that anymore.
Well, Reedy, would you have Pukki or Inacho or Daka to start?
I love
For me, it's Daka and Nacho, but that's just because I've got faith in Daka to come good because I know he has. For me, he's looked good. But I know what I mean. I know you don't rate him, but I really do. Like Zaka Mitrovic, Andy said, Mitrovic, I would take him every day of the week.
Yeah,
because he's performed it by a mile.
Look at Amati. You know, he was decent in the Premier League winning season. He's off injured for so long. No one rated him, but then now he's like one of our best defenders in the Premier in our team for the first half of the season. You know, players can take time to develop. But I know what you mean. We can't just say, "Oh, we cannot buy anyone because we've got players on the wait." We can't. We need to buy players for the season now. But I want to keep Daka for at least another 2 or 3 seasons, just because I know he can be a phenomenal striker.
I want to keep Daka because I can't wait for everybody to tell me how wrong I've been. I've called it early and I've said for me he's not good enough. He's another Musa. So I'm just saying it. I hope I'm wrong. I hope to goodness I'm wrong. I'd love to be proven wrong, but Pukki, I think, has proven enough in the Premier League that he can handle it.
He's had one good month in the Premier League, and that was the beginning of 2 seasons ago. We had like most goals in a month or something.
Well, listen, yeah, I get it. And Nick saying Pukki couldn't hit water if he fell out the boat. I'm not sat here saying we must sign Pukki. He just really mentioned him, I think, and I said, well, I'd rather have him play up top than Daka or even Nacho. Somebody put a comment in here about a marquee player, and I wanted to put it up. Chris Guttridge put it here. Reedy, we've talked about marquee players. I am with Chris on this. I'd love to put a flag in the ground and say, here's some experience, because there's something in the team. So I'd love to sign a midfield Cambiasso captain, somebody who goes, I'll lead by example, but I'll lead by because I am a leader. And I've been around a bit, and you're probably only going to get a year out of me or so. But I'd love to sign that marquee signing where you go, like Jono's just said, hang on, stick around, players.
One player who I would love, and that is Eriksen. Eriksen is that one player. If he could have any player in midfield in the Premier League where I go, that's the experienced player, be Eriksen.
That would probably be the kind of, for me, thinking about it, that is probably one of the only players at the moment now that you probably would call that sort of level. Because like I say, someone like a Noble, yes, he's a lot older, but that sort of level where you come in for that year and just absolutely boss the midfield where you need to have someone there.
Yeah, Matt's saying here about lesser players. It's not going to change as a club. We're doing a rebuild, says Kevin, but linked with Elyounoussi. Rodgers is basically going to sign his Celtic rejects. Interesting in there. Daka needs to learn to make the right runs into the channel, says Craig. Again, I get it. Vardy's there. He can teach him some of that. I don't think we play to Daka's strength at all. Dan says here, Daka's had a steady season and will be brilliant. Again, Dan, fingers crossed. Matty says, I'm obsessed by that fat lad from Fulham. Bit harsh on Mitrovic. Check out how many goals he scored in the Championship last season. And he will score in goals. Ellis says, bring in Ivan Toney.
Oh, that'd be a good signing.
That was one that was a few years back before they came up. Yeah. But now I've seen him in the Prem. I don't rate him as highly as I did before. I don't think he's as good as people think he is now.
Kevin says, don't think Rodgers could attract the marquee signings. And Ellis, again, LCFC needs a new captain, which leads me slightly on, Jono, to, I don't want to stir the pot of poo-poo with what's going on. But for me, there's been a bit of talk from Kasper and keepers, and Jakubovic has gone. I almost think it is time for Kasper to move on for himself, maybe, Jono. Yeah, for himself, so that he can have a new challenge, maybe the last 3 or 4 years of his career, carry on playing in Europe and have a fresh challenge. I'd almost think that would be the right move for him. I also think it'd be the right move for Leicester to I think we need to release the captaincy from the keeper, which is hard to do when Kasper's still there. And I also think it is one of those areas we let 21 goals in from set pieces. In most clubs, if it wasn't Kasper who's been here for 11 years and done everything, you would be saying, well, get the keeper out. The keeper's got to go. If we can't organise a defence, that's the keeper's job. So, Jono, is it time for Kasper's sake and for Leicester's sake he goes?
I would not. I can't say I would like to see him go, but I think is at a time in his career where I think the football at the moment in the Premier League does not suit Kasper. He can't. You know, he doesn't like passing around the back. He's not very good distribution. He's not good at that all that stuff. So, I think he should go for himself and into a different league, and we'll bring in a keeper and different keeper and have a centre back who can control the defence and be a captain. Like we maybe bring in a new centre back and have him as the captain. I don't know, but someone who can organise the defence. But it's Casper said I'm going. I'll be like, you know what? You've been an excellent Leicester player. I will not, no remorse. You can go, and I'll be happy.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, John. I think he is a legend. He is a club legend. He's in there in that all-time top 11. He's probably the all-time keeper debate. But
yeah.
Reedy, is it time? Should Casper go for himself and probably for betterment?
The thing is, like I say, if we don't get him out soon or let him him to decide to go soon, I feel like we're just going to get stuck with him being in that keeper spot, the first keeper spot for the next 5-10 years if he does stay. And you've got to get to the point now where you've got to kind of let him or push him out the club for a new start to happen. Because like you say, a rebuild, we're not really rebuilding on a team that we've already got. It's just adding new players in. If they want to rebuild, you clear some of the players out and then put them back in. So someone like, there's a lot of comments on Pope. Like, going wrong, I think everyone's would want him in, but it's just going to be a challenge. So.
Well, yeah, we've had a few comments. LCFC Gray says get Pope in there. Nick say we'll lose Casper who comes in, and don't say Pope. Burnley want 40 million for him. I've got to be fair, Jono. Leicester City looking to cement a 5th year, 6th year on the top half of the table and pushing for an 8th, 7th, 6th, maybe a cup run. 40 million for Pope, I actually would see as a great value investment.
Look at Ramsdale. Arsenal was slated for looking at Ramsdale for the even
30 million.
For 30 million, and everyone, all Arsenal fans were laughing at everyone because he's one of the best keepers in the Premier League at the moment. So, 40 million for a keeper. Yeah, look at Kepa. They paid 75 million for Kepa. He's the biggest flop in Premier League history. So,
well, would you pay 40 million for Pope? And
yes.
think that's pushing us forwards?
Because
hit me up. Schmeichel's 36. He's not getting any younger. He's not going to develop a new game. He's got his game. It's worked for so long. It's changed. Pope can develop. He can, he has that sort. Without Pope, Burnley will be bottom of the table. I think Pope's made some incredible saves. When we played against him, Pope was literally like 3 goalkeepers in goal. So I think I'll take Pope any day.
And again, I'm sort of with Matty on this, and I hear twitches like we all do and rumours from insiders who know what they know at the club. But Matty says player power is still a problem, in my opinion. I do wonder about that, Reedy.
Like I say, why is Casper still in goal? You've got Ward there. Don't get me wrong. I won't trust him in goal for the whole Premier League season. But again, the moment, why does he get dropped after 149 appearances against Watford? There's obviously a reason somewhere in the backing for that reason as well. But again, if you don't get any challenging goal, why wouldn't he stop playing? So you've got to kind of push him out at some point now, because without it, he's just gonna keep controlling that goalkeeper position.
Yeah, a lot. I think Pope is definitely splitting the fans up with their comments in there. Curtis says he'd take Nick Pope. I'm trying to find Andy's comment. He says Pope won't come as he's had it too cushy in the Vatican. Typical Andy Medhurst there. Thanks, Andy, for that. Keep getting your views and your comments in. We've nearly finished, so nearly time to go. Jono, new kit. Me and Reedy were talking about the new kit. Do we read anything into this sort of stuff, or is it just like calm down? But
I've got a theory. Well, they released a new kit with the first signing because we haven't any sign of a signing, or we've had no sign of, like you said, they've still got all of the home kit this season all over the shop still. So are they waiting for that massive first signing and then say, right, everyone, this is the player we want. We mean business. This is our first signing of the season. This is our shirt. Well, that's my theory. I think I'm going down that route.
But you've got to think as well before you say something, Phil. The kit probably has to come out before a player, though. If that's are we saying that or not? Because like I say, if we see a player come in first with an old kit, so surely we've either got to see the kit before a player or the player in that kit.
No, I want to see the new kit with the player because you
That's what I'm saying. But it has
Yeah.
to be the kit first, if anything, because you won't put a
Same
player in
time,
an old
like,
kit.
Like introducing our new signing, like
the
nothing
new
is
kit,
about the kit. They're wearing the kit. That's when I want to see the kit.
I want to live in your world, Jono. who is wearing that new kit, Jono, in your dream that you've had last night about this? Is it Christian Eriksen in it?
My score predictions have been right for at least 6% of last season. I'm going with this, but no, I don't know who we're going to sign. But I want to see. But I want us to have a signing where go right. This is our massive signing. 50 million pounds. He's wearing our new shirt. We mean business.
In the meantime, it's more like no new kits, not much news on the extension, and Yuri's off to Arsenal, Madders is off to Spurs, Cags is off to Real Madrid. We'll see. Let's see. Jono, thanks for joining us.
See you later.
We'll see you soon. Reedy, thanks a lot for joining us. You're going to be there next Monday, aren't you, Reedy, at the live event?
I will do, yeah. Can't wait.
We'll see Reedy there. Thank you. Thanks to Reedy. Thanks to Jono. Thanks, but mostly thanks to all you guys for watching, getting your views in, getting your comments in. Don't forget, before you switch off, do me a favor. Please like and share this. And if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. If you're watching on Facebook, pop over and go on, get over there and watch it in there. We couldn't do it with all these people. We are live next Monday at Peter's Pizzas. Literally, I think there's about 3 tickets left. So click on one of the links, make sure you grab one, and we'll see you down there. Cheers.
Hi everyone, thanks for watching Leicester Fan TV. Just like, subscribe and share, please. That would be great.
Thanks for watching Leicester Fan TV. Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pukka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hollogram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newby Co estate agents. Make sure to follow us on all of our social channels at Leicester Fan TV. Visit our website, leicesterfantv.com.